everyone, and welcome to this month's vlog where I'm going to take you along for my working week. We'll see what we actually get up to. It is still pretty quiet. We have started the day off busy, as you saw. I have put a batch of moisturizer on. I've been really lazy. I've been meaning to make moisturizer for about 3 weeks now. It keeps going up on the board and I keep thinking, oh no, it's okay, I've got it on the shelf. I had actually sold out of one of the fragrances, which has actually lost its popularity, so I wasn't going to replace it. And then there's another one on the shelf that I've only got one pot of, and it is actually really popular. But I thought, oh, I better make it this week. And I had to make it because one of the orders that I got come in actually does have a pot of moisturizer in, and it's for the one that I've sold out of that I wasn't planning on restocking. So my bad, I forgot to take it off the website. But I'm making a fresh pot, so I will just make them a pot. I have removed it off the website now. I will make them a fresh pot, and I have to email them just to let them know that there will be a delay in sending their order out so that they get that fresh pot of moisturizer. And I've already decided which fragrance I'm actually going to replace that one with, so that is on the go. We've just picked, and I'm in the processes of packing all of the orders I got over the weekend. I've actually got quite a lot of orders there, but not many to post out. Reason being, I've had a lot of people take me up on my Pamper Club, so thank you so much to everyone who have been or has taken me up on that Pamper Club that I've launched on my website. If you don't know what it is, it's a pay to join club. It's $59 for the year, and what that gets you is a flat 15% off your order no matter how much you order. Excludes shipping, but it's 15% off all products. So you could spend $4 or you could spend $100 and you're still going to get 15% off. You also get a welcome pack. I've got one over here. It comes in a little bag that you can keep. These are good if you've got like little toiletries that you want to throw into your bag or something, so you can actually take those with you. And inside it, I will change the contents every so often. At the moment, we've got a shower fizzer, there's a lip balm and a clip balm holder, there's a shrink wrap opener in there, there's a little melt, we've got a little ray of sunshine and a pen in there. There's always going to be over $24 worth of value in the bag, and that goes out with the first order that you place. Once you've become a Pamper Club member, it doesn't just automatically get sent out because of the cost of shipping, but once you place your first order, that is included in there. Then there's also things like extra birthday discounts, so it'll either be a discount or a value, something like that, plus a birthday gift. What else is there? Extra specials of things that will have like monthly specials, exclusive offers, freebies, like if I've introduced a new product or a new fragrance, Pamper Club members may get a freebie, one of those. This month, every Pamper Club member that placed an order is also getting a free bar of the soap that I'm in the boxes, so they've been getting that this month. Next month it's going to change, but I've been pretty overwhelmed and very, very thankful by the number of people who have actually joined the Pamper Club. I was a little bit worried about doing a paid loyalty program, but on saying that, I'm not the first person or business to do that. I'm actually a member of 2 paid loyalty programs, and I think as long as you get your value back through them, it is actually worth joining. So I've got one with a sewing centre where I take my machine to get serviced, and the sewing centre is also part of a vinyl company as well, and you get 10% off across the board, so that's really good. And then the other one I have joined, I did actually recently join the Woolworths Rewards one, and we've done really, really well out of that just in our free trial period. So I'll definitely be paying for that one when it comes up next week. So I'm not the only business that does a paid loyalty program. And one of the advantages with it is that you do get that constant 15% off. None of this builds so many points and then you get something, or you know, so many points equals dollars off and things like that. This is just, you get it no matter what. So that's why I did it as a paid one, and it is available in the shop as well. I've only had one person in the shop take me up on that one, but I'm sure as we get closer to Christmas and people are wanting to save a little bit of money, I'll get more people actually joining up. And it would also make a wonderful present to give to somebody else as well. So yeah, looking forward to getting closer to Christmas to really promote it. So we've got all that going. I've got a couple more to pack up. I've got a Pimp My Soap one to do as well. And then the other thing I've got to do this morning, I've got to put together an IKEA chair. So the little chair that I usually sit on, I think it's, let's see if you can see it. It's actually just tucked in over there. Let me grab it. This is the little stool that I usually sit on, and I've had it for about 6 years, and it folds down flat. And I got this when I was doing the markets. When I got my trailer, I wanted to have a chair that was easy just to slide into the trailer. It wasn't too heavy, compact, and also higher up than what some of the lower chairs are that you see a lot of market people using. The reason being is I actually don't agree with sitting down when you're at a market, because I'm less likely to actually approach you if you're sitting in a chair doing something that's not market related. And quite often when you're sitting in those chairs, you actually can't see over your table to see what's happening. So I'm not a huge fan of the normal camp chairs that people have at markets. But I actually do have issues with my feet, that they're a fused bone in the ankles, and I do actually need to alter between sitting and standing, otherwise I end up in severe pain with my feet. So I opted to get this as my chair because I can actually sit on it. I'll do that now. I can sit on it, see over things, but it also doesn't look like I've actually been sitting down when I actually go to approach a customer. So it doesn't look as if someone has actually disturbed me when I'm getting up to speak to someone. So I've always liked these high chairs for markets, and that one I picked up in Bunnings. It wasn't that expensive. I think it's a trail, I can't remember, Austrail, I think that's who it was, or Lifetime, or one of the big camping brands. It's got no stickers on it anymore. And it's been really, really handy. And I brought it down to the shop because I like the idea I could pack it up when I'm busy and I don't want it on the floor. But I've noticed, because it's been so quiet in the shop lately, and I've been doing a lot more admin work while I'm in here, that chair is actually now starting to hurt. It's comfortable to sit on when I'm at markets for, 10 minutes between customers. It is not comfortable to sit on for an hour while I work at the computer. So I had a look for some collapsible bar stools, and I found one at IKEA. So I have been and got that. Looks like I need to put it together, but I think it will actually be a lot more comfortable for sitting at the computer or sitting when I'm doing my soap dough work, because it will bring me up high enough that I can see everything, and be at the bench height. So I'm going to put that together, and hopefully it'll be a lot more comfortable than that thing. And it does collapse, so when I'm busy in here I can put it away. So for now, I'm actually going to get on with finishing packing these orders so I can get them down the post office later. We'll see how much filming we actually do get to do, or talking filming I get to do this week, because as I've mentioned in other videos, I do have a new neighbour, and she is amazing. Her name's Danielle, and she runs Sunshine Street Foods, and she does all mainly Mexican, but she does bring in other cuisines as well. But she does all very quick, fast food that is tasty, home cooked. It is beautiful. Hubby and I had one of the chicken Alaska soups over the weekend, and it was so good. And we've had things like burrito bowls and everything. Really, really good. One of the things is though, the wall in here is pretty thin, so when I come in the morning and she's cooking the food ready for lunchtime service, I can hear all the pressure cookers and everything going. And while she's closed, she likes to have her music up loud. Not offensive, my sort of music that she plays, so I'm not bothered by that at all, but it does mean that I can't do much filming on the camera because it picks up that music. And then the little bots say that I've been playing music I shouldn't, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. So we'll see how much filming we actually get to do this week. It does put a little bit more of a challenge for when I'm doing soap filming as well, trying to find that time. I don't think she opens on a Saturday, so I think most of my soap filming will now be done on a Saturday. We'll see how things actually go. I'm going to get on to packing this, and we'll see where the day takes us. Okay, so I have finished piping up my roses. I tried to keep them nice and small this time so we could get as many roses on a bar of soap as possible. There'll also be some other piping in amongst these as well, but really pleased. I poured the pink and the white in together to get like different colors of roses there. Really pleased with them. So that I don't damage them, I'm going to put them on my cure rack. And then tomorrow, along with making the hand cream and magnesium oil, I'm going to make some of the embeds to go on these Halloween soaps. So for that one in particular, I'm actually doing a witching hour inspired one. So we'll be making a moon embed, and I also have a little witch embed to make as well. Then I've got two others on my list, but I'm not going to reveal too much of those because we do need to keep some little surprises for the channel along the way. But I am going to make a really good start on those this week. I've got about half an hour until the shop closes, so I've actually just put in an order with new directions. So I'm going to go and update my accounting system, so that is all in. We're almost at the end of the tax year, so I need to make sure that the accounts programs are fully up to date. So that's been put in. I'll go and do that, and then I'll head to the post office before going home. And on my way, I must get that water. I will see you tomorrow. All right, it's almost time for me to go home, but let's first of all discuss the day, because I'm so up and down at the moment. It's been a pretty good day productive wise. I have made all the moisturizers that I needed to. I will take photos of the new scent next week on my days off to go onto the website. I did also manage to make up some magnesium oil spray, because you end up with an exothermic reaction when you mix water and magnesium chloride together. Which means it heats up. I'm going to leave that to sit there, and I can bottle it up tomorrow once it comes back down to room temperature. And I also managed to do all the embeds for one of the Halloween soaps. So we've got my little witch and we've got moon, so hopefully tomorrow I can make that soap up. I did get a phone call from Adobe as well to say that their 4 o'clock appointment tomorrow has cancelled, so I can actually have that time slot, which works out so much better for me. So we've moved that. I was a bit disappointed earlier today. I went out to put something onto the trolley that's out the front of the shop, and I noticed one of my heat bags has got a mark on it. Not happy. I would imagine, or I'm assuming, that somebody has had something to eat outside, come along, had a bit of a poke and a prod, and then have got food stains on here. Now, although these are made with cotton and I can quite easily take this home and wash it, I just then don't feel right washing it and putting it back out on the shelf. So I'll probably keep this cover for myself and then just put the insert that's in here in another one of the covers that I'll be making. So I have now actually taken all of the heat packs from outside and bought them in, because I don't want any more of them ruined through sticky fingers. It used to be a real bugbear of mine at the markets, the amount of people who would come in eating food and then they'd lick all their fingers and then go and touch everything. It used to just make my skin crawl, and it's one of the reasons I actually won't use testers anywhere I go, because of the amount of people who lick their fingers and then stick them in pots. It's just horrible. So productivity wise, it's been pretty good. At about just before 3:30 today, I printed up my new tenancy agreement and realized I have completely and utterly messed up, and I'm actually feeling pretty sick over it. I almost shut the shop as well, because I've made myself feel so sick over it, but I'm glad I didn't, because in the last 10 minutes I have had 3 customers come into the shop, so I'm glad I actually didn't close up early. But I feeling pretty sick, because I realized that when they told me how much the rent was going up, I've completely and utterly miscalculated it. The first time I went up after being in here for a year, they told me how much it had gone up and how much it would affect my monthly bill. So basically it was the total per month that it was gone up, and I've just realized that the increase they've come back to me is weekly, not monthly. So now the rent is actually sitting at something I think is too much for this shop, but I've only got 4 weeks left. That I can't find a new place in 4 weeks. It's really, really wrong that they've left it until last minute to tell me this stuff, and I'm now really, really, really stuck. It's there's nowhere for me to actually go to in the next 4 weeks, so I'm actually now stuck here. But I've just gone back through my last sort of 12 months of rent to see if I'm going to be able to cover it, and most months I'll be able to cover rent and break even on the stock sold, and there'll be absolutely no profits just on my shop sales. So I will be very, very heavily relying on the online sales to come in, because I need to stay in the shop. I can't go back to markets. I've got none of my market equipment anymore. I'm in a lot more pain these days than I was when I was doing markets, so I don't actually have that option. And I don't think working from home just on the website is going to sustain a living for me. So I actually do need both the website and the shop. So I'm pretty much in a bit stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if I don't have the shop, I don't think I'm going to make enough online. But then while I'm in the shop, I've got rent, I've got electricity and all this other stuff, which is only just getting covered by the sales. But it's such a hard decision to have to make. I'm going to go home and speak to my husband tonight and see what he thinks. what I should actually do, because yeah, I do honestly think that the landlord is just trying to recover money from the other two shops being empty for over a year. And then people like myself are the ones that are going to get stung with the rent. And yeah, I do think with the new price, it's about $400 per month over what this place is actually worth. So, feeling pretty sick about it. Don't know what to do. And yeah, I guess for now what I'm going to do is go to the post office and then go home, have a gin and tonic and talk to hubby about it. So I will see you tomorrow and let you know what decision I have made about this. Okay, so I've got some things here to sit and label. I have bottled up the magnesium oil, so just popping the labels onto that. I have also put the hand cream into the tubes, and I've got another thing here that I've just made some labels for that will get all that done up too. And while we'll do that, let's discuss what hubby and I did last night about my little dilemma. So I got home and he agreed with me that the rent that they are asking for does seem a little bit excessive given the age of the building, the level of input from the landlord in terms of, with our building there's been no paint work, there's been no maintenance work, whereas I look at the building across from us and they have actually put out this massive sign out the front telling what number street it is, what the name of the building is, and then everyone's got a little space to put their business on it. So they've actually spent a fair bit of money on maintenance and that sort of thing on that building, but the landlord here just doesn't. You try and ask for something. Like, for example, when I moved in here, I noticed that the back door was rotten and I asked twice to get it fixed. And then the third time I asked, it was actually when one of the other shops in the building had got broken into, and I brought this up with them and I said, you know, this back door still isn't fixed. We've just had a break-in into the building. My shop is extremely easy to break into because the door hasn't been fixed and was something I brought up when I first moved in. And then I actually eventually did get that door replaced. They replaced the whole frame because termites had eaten it out. So, you know, they're not very willing to do any work. So we did feel that the rent that they were asking for is extremely high. So basically, hubby and I sat down, discussed the options, and we came up with 4 options. The first was just to suck it up, pay the rent, and think about it over the next sort of year, because 4 weeks is a very, very stressful to try and get everything sorted out. So that was the first option. The second option was to go back to them and say, look, can we do anything about the rent? And, you know, go from there. The third option that we came up with was, I do know there are a couple of places around here that are up for rent. So, you know, we could really just ask for maybe a month's extension on here and start looking around to find something and give myself maybe 2 months. And then the other option was just to close the shop altogether and just to go back to working from home. I wouldn't, however, be able to do markets doing it that way. So they were my 4 options. Now, I will be straight up honest and say the last option of closing the shop altogether and just working from home, as nice as it would be to work from home again, for me, that also feels like I'm failing. I know I'm not, and some people will go, no, that's not right. But to me, that would feel like a failure that I haven't been able to stay in a shop. So I said I'm not happy with that option. But before I completely wiped that option out, I did bring up all of my accounts from the last 2 years since coming into the shop to see how I've grown, where the main business comes from, and things like that. When we looked at it, the shop this year has earned more than what online sales earned by 40% more. So it's not viable to close the shop and just rely on online business. That's just, at this point, it's not going to work. So that option I have taken out because of that feeling of failure. I know it's not, but that's what it feels like, you know, and we can't change that. So that sort of option was out. Yesterday afternoon before leaving, I did actually write to the agent and say, can you please confirm what my monthly bill will be, just in case I'd calculated it wrong. No, I didn't calculate it wrong. She came back with it after we'd actually sat and looked at a few other things on the computer. She did come back to me late last night with what the monthly bill would be. And this little sort of side note of your current rent that you are paying is actually well below the rental average for the area, size shop, blah, 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 which basically meant that option 2 was not going to happen. They were not going to consider a negotiation on rent. That was just not going to happen because I didn't even question that in my email. But that's what it came back with, is that you are well below the average. So I knew option 2 was then out the door. So hubby and I actually did sit and have a look. We pulled up the commercial real estate pages, and before I actually got that email, this is when we were doing it, I realized that the rent that it's gone up to is actually still cheaper per square meter than a lot of the other shops and businesses in this area. So I knew that before she actually sent that message to me, because there was one shop I found that was actually twice the size of this one for the same price. And as I was looking at it, I said, you know what, it's really nice. It had a kitchen already in it. It had a toilet in it that was accessible to customers as well as to me. It had a nice area that I would be able to have a shop and then also have a making area and then also have a class area as well. So it was really, really well laid out. But the problem is it's about another 10 minutes away. So that's going to increase my travel time, but not only increase the travel time, it was actually traveling through an area that has a lot more peak hour traffic. So it would really, even though it's an extra 10 minutes away, I'd say it would probably take me an extra 15 to 20 minutes to get there. It's in a place that I know, but it's in a place where you literally have to drive there and know that somebody's there. And then it's down like a little, down the back, like the shops are in an L sort of shape, and the front of the L is on the main road, and then this side is a little bit tucked away, and it was down this little tucked away area. So I don't think I would actually get a lot of passing traffic coming to the shop. And I said to hubby, with the way that I work, where I'm actually relying on passing traffic to walk in through the door, I don't think that's going to work. If, however, I relied more heavily on online sales, wholesale, and that sort of thing, and passing traffic was minimal anyway, I would probably have looked at it. But given its location, it just wasn't really going to work. There was one other building here in Cleveland that could have been a potential, a little bit cheaper, a little bit bigger, but no parking and no bathroom. And that's, the parking's the issue. There is not a lot of parking in Cleveland, and a lot of the shops where they don't get parking have to do what we call the 2-hour shuffle, where every couple of hours the shops shut for 10 minutes and everyone goes out and they move their car around, and they have to try and find another spot away from where they've been parking so that they don't end up with fines. And I think it's about a $25 fine, so if you don't move your car. So having the parking as part of this building is a huge bonus. I could live with having a shared bathroom facility, but this other shop it's actually the public bathrooms that you have to use, which is a fair walk from the shop. So that was another thing that turned me off that one. So after looking at what is available and the pricing, I came to the realization that what they've actually bumped the rent up. It's gone up by 30%. 30%, that is huge. Like, our CPI isn't even going up by 1% this year, and that's how much rent generally goes up by, is whatever the CPI is. So 30% is massive. But I realize as well, just by looking around, that what they're charging me is still below the average for this area. So they've kind of kept it at that point where if I want to move, I'm going to have to pay more, so you may as well stay, sort of thing. Plus, I've invested a lot of money into the shop with the water. I said to my husband, there are 2 shops across the way, which I do like, which are in a more prominent position, no parking though. I said, even if I do decide to move, just thinking about it, I'm already up for $4,000 in lawyer and accounting fees, because you have to get the contracts, legally have to get the contracts overlooked by a lawyer and an accountant, which frustrated me, because last time I did that, I actually picked stuff up in my contract that the lawyer missed, and I was really ticked off. Why am I paying him over $2,000 when I've pointed out all the really important stuff that they missed? But it is what it is. It's the law, had to be done. So I said to my husband, if I do move, I'm already up for $4,000 to actually get a new contract. Then wherever I move to, I'm going to have to fit it out. And the one shop I've looked at, it does have water in, but I would still have to get a kitchenette put into it. I could take the one out the back because I've paid for it. I've put it in. I just need to fix the walls up. So that does save a little bit of money, but I'd still need to get it all plumbed in to, like, it's not just as simple as, you know, there is water in there, but it's a little hand sink, so I'd have to actually get it plumbed in properly to the dishwasher and everything else. So as I'm looking at about, at minimum, $6,000 if I can find somewhere that is pretty much set up how I want it. At most, I could be looking at $8,000 to $10,000 to actually move into a new shop. So I said to hubby that, you know, looking at those figures, it's going to actually cost me more money to move into another shop just in fit out and everything else than it is just to pay the extra rent per year. So we kind of went through all these options. So I was basically left with 2 options: either move out and that's the end of that, no more shop, or suck it up and pay the rent. And as I said, that last option of move out and no more shop, that is not an option for me, because that just indicates failure. The short of it is, I am staying in the shop for 1 more year. Anyway, I have finished labeling up all those goodies to go out on the shelf. I have one more thing that I am going to put some labels onto. I think I've got a customer about to come in. No, she changed her mind. So I'll keep talking at you. The other thing that I've got to pop some little labels or some little tags onto. I'll get my little whole thing while I'm doing it. So you've You may have seen on the channel that I was sent that X-Tool M1 laser blade cutting machine, and one of the things I said that I was keen to actually do with it was to make some bags to sell in the shop, mainly because on a Sunday people come in asking if they can buy bags from me, because for some reason so many of the businesses at the market don't feel that giving out bags to go with products that people have purchased is a good thing to do. That sort of concept really annoys me, because shopping bags are a really good way of advertising your business. Stick a label on it and people walk down the street and they'll see that you're there. Like the amount of times people have said to me when they've come in the shop, oh, I've seen someone with your orange bag and I just had to come and see. Or, you know, when I first moved in the shop, a lot of people would see the orange bags in the market and then come in and say, oh, we thought you'd closed down. We just saw someone with one of your bags and asked where you were. So bags really do work as a great marketing tool. So it really frustrates me when people won't give bags. It's a cost of doing business. Anyway, high horse, let's get off that one. But I decided, rather than charging people a couple of dollars for the orange bags that I put my stuff into, I decided I wanted to make some fun bags to do. And I have been playing with the heat transfer vinyl. I think I've created a new monster because I love this stuff. So I got myself in some calico canvas bags or calico cotton bags, and I've been using the heat transfer vinyl. So this one says shopping makes everything better. So I'm actually just putting, they're not necessarily related to what I sell. They're just going to be fun, quirky things. I've called them shopping bags with sass, because they're not going to be rude, but they will have little funny sayings. We've got this one here. I'm more confused than a chameleon in a bag of Skittles. The chameleon, I've actually used what they call chameleon heat transfer stuff, and it goes from blue to green, so it does change colors. This took me forever because I did the letters of Skittles in all the different colors, so that actually took me forever to do. I did this one. I loved the saying because I need this bag myself. I don't know what it was, but it was on sale, or I don't know what it is, but it was on sale. I am so bad for doing that, so I had to make that particular bag up. Got 3 of that one, and then this one, I just really liked it. It was so cute, and I used hot pink from our little piggy. This little piggy went to market. So then I'm gonna do a couple. You know, you see these bags where it says wine, milk, bread, milk, wine, and then a big tick, or oops, did I buy wine instead of milk, and those sort of sayings. And I actually want to do those where it says you got some of this is organic food, just kidding, and people put wine, and I'm going to put it's a candle or something like that on there. So I will have a couple which are kind of related to being in the shop as well, but for now I've just got a few of them. I'm just going to trial them, pop some tags on, and have them for sale ready for this weekend, and hopefully a few of them will sell, and then I'll work on making some more and get them on the website as well for anyone that wants to buy them through there. Anyway, that's enough talking, isn't it? Because that's what makes these vlogs so long. It's almost lunchtime. I'm going to go and put some string on these onto my bags and then get them outside. Also going to open the door. I've had the door shut this morning because it was so cold and there's this real wind blowing through. But having the door shut does confuse people about whether I'm open or not. It's so funny. People stand there at the door and it's like, yeah, I'm open. And they come in, oh, we didn't think you were open. It's like, why would I have a great big trolley full of stock sitting outside my shop if I wasn't open? It always makes me laugh. So anyhow, I'm going to go and open up the door so people actually realise I am open, and then have a think about what I'm going to have for lunch while restocking the shelves. Alright, so you've just seen me unmold and cut that moon in bed we made yesterday and popped it into the mold, and I was going to make the soap, but we have a problem. It would seem I miscalculated. If I actually push this soap so it sits down at this far end here, you can see we are pretty much almost missing 2 full bars of soap. Now, I know a lot of people would just go, oh well, I'll just make the soap and I'll only end up with 16 instead of 18 bars. But my OCD won't let me do that. My OCD says I have to make a new moon in bed for in here. And you know what? I know saying that out loud to me sounds ridiculous, and I'm just thinking, just make the soap, just make the soap and you'll have 2 bars less than what you intended. But it's so difficult. Hubby and I have often had this conversation about my OCD and how it does affect me in a lot of things I do, and I'm very grateful I don't have the type of OCD where I have to turn the light switch on 3 times before entering a room, or I have to wash my hands 10 times before I'm satisfied, and that sort of thing. I am so grateful I don't have OCD to that degree, but I do have this level of OCD, and it's not perfectionism. Perfectionism and this level of OCD are very different sorts of things, and it's so hard to explain unless you experience it as well. Perfectionism would be, I'd go, oh well, it's short, I'll make my soap, I'll make 16 perfect bars, and then these other 2 can be used as samples or put onto the clearance rack, or could be another type of soap. That would be perfectionism to me, whereas to me, this is wrong. This is just wrong. It's not right. I have to redo it. I had the intention of having a moon in bed from this end to this end of my soap mold. It doesn't meet those requirements, therefore it is wrong, and I have to do it again. I could still make a perfect soap bar. I could still make 16 perfect soap bars as this is. But no, my brain is telling me I can't do that. I have to make another moon in bed, which I have already done. It got a little bit busy, so I couldn't do any filming, so I quickly whipped up a new moon in bed. And I know what I did wrong. I calculated, my molds are just under 48 centimeters, so I calculated to fill my mold up to 24 centimeters using soap calc. The problem was, I know that pipe is 2.5 inches, and when I measured it with the ruler, I was seeing 6 centimeters. So I put into soap calc, my cylinder was 6 centimeters by 24 centimeters, got the measurement. Problem was 2.5 inches is actually 6.3 centimeters, and by taking that 0.3 off the side of the soap, instead of getting a 24 centimeter high in bed, this is actually only 22. So it's made a huge difference taking that 0.3 off, and that's how we've ended up with it being shorter. So I've recalculated it, got it into the mold. I actually only needed, I think it was an extra 60 grams worth of oil to actually get the proper height. In fact, that's not true. I probably needed less. I erred on the side of caution this time and said I want 25 centimeters. So we definitely get the right height this time. But the funny thing is, my OCD is telling me this is wrong and I have to do another one. Now, that does not mean to say I am going to throw these away, because that would be a waste. But even though in my head, and this is where it really does begin to sound absolutely ridiculous, but I know there are people out there who will actually know what I am saying, and they would feel, and this is where it does sound silly as well, they would still feel the same anxiety that goes with it. So the anxiety that I feel about the fact that I don't get 18 bars of soap out of this is huge, and that's why I have to do it properly. But this is where it does get really funny. So this big mold, I want my moon in bed to go from end to end. It doesn't, it's wrong. Rather than throwing this out, I've got out my little half loaf. Now in my head, I know that this is not going to fill from one end to the other. If we pop it in, I'll bump it down to the end. You can see we've got a gap. But this doesn't bother me because I'm aware that this was not going to fill the mold. And some of you are just thinking, you're just stupid and crazy. And I know it sounds stupid and crazy and doesn't make sense, but it is just the way it is. That is how my brain actually works, and I have just learned to live with it throughout my life. So what I'll end up doing is making some little smaller molds with this. So I'll end up with twice as many soaps as what I should have. But probably what I'll end up doing with these ones is, rather than having them like two little ones and the big one all the same, I'll do my big one as I'm intending to do with the witch in it. And then for these little ones, I might actually, I've got bats and all sorts in my little box of goodies in here, so I may even find some other embeds to go with these moons and just make them a little bit different, and I'll just end up with 4 Halloween style of soaps. So yeah, and that's probably most likely what I'll end up doing, is doing some different embeds. So we'll have a witch one, we'll have a bat one, and like I said, even though this still doesn't fit in here, in my head I know it's not going to fit, so it's okay. I don't know, I'm sure there are others of you out there who experience this crazy form of OCD along with me and can appreciate how I'm actually feeling about it. So what I'm going to do, because it's actually getting quite late in the afternoon, we're at 3 o'clock, so I've only got an hour left. I'm going to wrap this moon up into some cling wrap. I'm going to make some little embeds from here, and then tomorrow, I've actually just found out that Sunshine Street Foods are not opening this weekend, so I will actually get to do some filming of soaps tomorrow. It means I won't get to have any of the food this weekend, but oh well, there's always next week. I'm going to wrap these up and I'll make some soaps tomorrow while it's I've got relative quiet in the shop, like no external noise coming in. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Let me know down in the comments section if you too also suffer this stupid form of OCD where if it's not right, you have to do it again. Guys, I'm feeling good this morning. It is the 1st of July, which means it's the start of a new month, and I always seem to have a really good week in my first sort of start of the month. And it's also the start of a brand new financial year here in Australia, so it's almost like having a clean slate. Last year is done. I just have to now do all of my accounting, my tax and everything else, and see how much the government are going to take from off me. But it's feeling like a whole new clean slate. I have got this new plan in my head, so I'm feeling pretty good today. I did get into the shop about 20 minutes early and popped over across the road. I did stop by and was speaking to another shop across the way there. Her shop is actually exactly the same size as mine. Her rent is going to be, her rent from what she was telling me is about $200 less than what I pay per month. But on saying that, I have my own bathroom, so I'm not in a shared bathroom thing, so I don't have to shut my door to go to the bathroom and potentially lose a walking customer because I'm not here. And I also have my own parking. I have two allocated spots to me out the back of the building, whereas a lot of the other shops around here, we do what we call the 2-hour shuffle, and they have to go out and move their cars every 2 hours unless they are lucky and manage to snag one of the 12-hour parking spots that are around. which are really, really hard to actually get. So, and if you don't do the 2-hour shuffle, you potentially get a $25, I think it's 25, it could be a little bit more these days. I don't know, it's how long it's been since I've had a parking fine. We're talking 20 plus years. So, you know, let's say it is $25 per day. If you're open for 5 days a week, you're looking at $125 in parking fees. So I think based on what she was telling me and what I've got as added extras, and I don't have to pay for water in here, whereas the other rental places do. They have to pay for water and a couple of other things. So I think I'm still okay. The rent still actually is very reasonable for the area. So after I finished chatting to her, I headed off over to the shops. I was thinking about, like, remember I said, well, of course it wasn't that long ago, I was putting these bags out. I've just dropped the hook. Let me grab it. So I did end up putting little tags onto all of my shopping bags. I called them shopping bags with sass. I know they're not rude sayings or anything, but they do have a little bit of a funny quirk to them. So I just decided to call them shopping bags with sass, put the little tags on, and then I had a hunt around the shop to see how I could display them, and I found these little hooks. And what I also discovered was that my door to the shop, most doors are flat on the top. Mine's actually got a ridge in it, so these hooks sat really nicely on the top of the door, and then I hung them up on the door. Now the door is fairly flat, but what I did discover is as the wind was blowing, these were starting to curve and people couldn't really see them. So last night I was sitting there thinking about how can I display these a little bit better with what I've got available to me, because I actually do need to stop doing impulse buying. I really do. That's why this bag's perfect for me. I came up with a couple of ideas in my head, and I was thinking I'm still going to end up with the same problem of the bags curling in, so people won't actually be able to see them. So I came into the shop this morning on my drive in, still thinking about how to do this. I thought I'll pop on over to the shop, impulse buy, and go and buy some cheap metal coat hangers. You know, they're only a couple of dollars for a pack of 10. I'll buy a cheap packet of pegs, and then I'll peg them all onto the coat hangers. Now I was going to do that, but as I was looking, I then discovered they were a little bit more, but we got the trouser hangers instead. And I actually do like the trouser hangers for a couple of reasons. Yes, they did cost more, but they're going to last longer than pegs. We've got trouser hangers in our wardrobe that are goodness knows how old, and they still work well. They're not rusty or anything like that. So I thought, good investment to get those, and if I don't need them here, we've always got trousers at home that need hanging up. So I decided to get these, and the other reason I like trouser hanger ones over the wire metal ones is that you can actually change the hook position. So I could leave it like that. I do actually have a rail at home that I'm going to bring in, so I can actually hang my bags on it and people can, you know, scoot through it like you would with clothes. But I can also turn that little hook so it goes that way and hang it over the door so that I can have some on the door as people come in. And I think once we actually pop the coat hanger onto these bags, I'm just going to get it even because that's just what I do, it's actually going to look so much better hanging up because people can see what they say a lot easier. So yes, they did cost me a little bit more than the other coat hangers, but I think presentation wise these are going to be a far better option. So I think I bought enough to do the bags that I've got in the shop. And then I did also buy these as well. I think I just got the one set of these. These are hooks to hang over the back of doors, so these will hang nicely over my shop door and kind of tie in with the rest of the look with the wooden pegs on them, and it will mean that I can also hang a few of these on the door. So I did get those, did splash out on them, and again this is something I can use at home if I end up not using them down here. But I also know that these will hook over some of my shelving as well, so they can be used in multiple areas of the shop. So I did get myself them. So I'm going to fix all those up this morning, and then I'm going to get on to today's tasks. I have a couple of new products I'm releasing this month. The first of them, I need to make one more because I've been having my husband test it and he says he really, really likes it. So I just need to make it up. I've been making massage body oils. It was actually a recipe I shared with patrons in June, and it is available on the $5 level for July and August, and on the $10 level for another 3 months after that. So I shared that recipe, and I'm actually going to bring them out to my customers this month, but I was working on one more, so I need to make those up today and then get them out on the shelf. And the other product I'm releasing this month in my store are a body spray. I shared this recipe with my patrons ages ago, at the same time that George from Dawn Organics was doing this. It was something I was working on. He told me about a couple of ratios. I added a few extra ingredients in and ended up with a really nice body spray as opposed to a room spray, because that's what George was making. And I have, over the last few months, been testing different fragrances to make sure that I get a nice clear spray, because that's what I want out of these. Some fragrances work, some fragrances don't, but I've got 4 of them. So these have been sitting on my side for a few weeks now. I've just been monitoring them to make sure the fragrance stays, that there's nothing funky going to happen with them. This one's actually been sitting on my side for about 6 months, I think, and it's still looking really, really good. And every so often I give myself a spray with this one, just to make sure that the fragrance is still good after 6 months, which it is. So I need to make up some more of those to go on my shelf so we can actually launch them. I generally launch products on my days off, so Monday, Tuesday, so that's what I'll be doing with those online. And then there is one more product I'm going to be releasing this month. This is the new directions order I placed on Wednesday, and we got it yesterday, so that was Friday. 2 days. I am so super impressed. Got it so quickly. They're actually not using toll anymore, I don't think, because it came with a different courier. But in here I have the startings of another product I am bringing out this month. I have got some foamy bottles. I have been testing a formula. It's actually taken from my body wash formula, and then I changing just a couple of things into a foaming hand wash. And these are the recipes I'm going to be putting onto Patreon this month, July. So I'll do both the recipes, so you can make either a body wash or a foaming hand wash, because there is a slight difference between the two to get them to work. It's not just a simple matter of adding extra water to a body wash, because you're actually disturbing the level of preservative. And you can actually, if you're at home and you are trying to make your own foaming wash and you just buy a body wash from the supermarket and add water, you have that potential to grow bacteria in that body wash and water if you're not using the right water, and if you haven't got enough preservative for that additional water. So this month on Patreon, I will be sharing the 2 recipes, one for a very simple body wash, cold processed, and then another one to safely change it into a foaming hand wash. So that will be coming out, I think, in the 2nd week of July, and it will be on the $5 level for 3 months, and then the $10 level for 6 months. So that is my plan today, is to start putting these together, and then hopefully I will have the foaming hand wash in the shop by mid-July. I've been testing a few fragrances to see how it goes. Anyway, that is enough yabbering. I need to get on with, first of all, get these bags out, because I really do want to start actually selling them. So we're going to do that, and then I will pick, I'll make the massage body oil, I think, first. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get some music on and get the heater on, because it's a little bit chilly. Alright, so I've done much better at this. This time around I decided to go for 25 centimeters because I thought 24 might just be pushing it to fit in the mold. I'd much rather have a little bit of excess. So I went for 25 centimeters and I have got that on here. So bonus, we're going to get the right size moon to go in the mold. So I'm going to pop it in here. I'm going to cut it in half, and then this afternoon I'm going to make my soap. It's been busy in the shop this morning, so I'm running a little bit behind in terms of having my lunch. It's almost, what time is it? It's 1:30, so having my lunch quite late. So this afternoon I will get on to making this soap that is the side view of the moon, so it's going to look really good when this is cut open. And I will also use that other moon in bed as well. I have been busy in between customers coming in making the body sprays. I've got about 30 of them I think down here which I need to label up. There's my lunch just finished. So I'll have my lunch, I'll make the soap, and then I'll label up these body sprays. I have about 2 minutes until I shut the door, and this is not how I like to finish my day, so I guess I'm going to be staying back about half an hour to clean up. You can see we've got that witching hour soap in the mold and I am absolutely loving it. Can't wait to cut it open tomorrow. I did make such a mess, not just on the bench, but I had soap everywhere. It was a really messy soap to do and I have no idea why, but I do need to go and put all of this stuff away because I hate leaving my benches dirty when I leave, but mainly because if we try not to make people too sick, people come along here and they peek through the window, so I don't like to have all this mess sitting. It's not too bad there because people can't see it, but people can see this when they look through the window. Yes, it does look like I've been busy, but it also just looks like a mess and I don't like that. So I'm going to spend about another 15 to 20 minutes probably cleaning this up once I've shut the door. And then for tomorrow when we come back into the shop, so tomorrow when I'm back in the shop, I will have to label up all of these body sprays which I've got sitting on the counter and get them onto the shelf, and then I'll just have a general tidy up. I've got some soaps that need cleaning up and putting away as well, so we'll be able to do that tomorrow. Tonight when I get home, I have to do a little bit of computer work. Hubby is on a late, so I'm going to jump onto the computer. I've got to edit photos. I hate editing photos, but I've got to do it because I need to get the massage body oils and the body spray onto the website, and then I can send out my very first Pamper Club newsletter and let all my club members know what exclusive discounts they've got this month, and for those that have got a birthday this month, they'll also be getting a little extra something too. So I will be doing that when I get home. So for now it's just gone 3 o'clock. I'm gonna go outside, pull everything in, clean this up, and then head home. Good morning guys, I have just opened up the shop. It is Sunday, the markets are on. There's a few people out there already, but it is a bit chilly, so I think it's going to be a slow start to the day. I came in this morning and noticed that the recycle cardboard bin out the back looked empty, so I've just been and put all my cardboard rubbish in there. It's a bit annoying because it literally, I think it only got emptied on Friday, and it's already full with rubbish from other shops. And not only is it full of cardboard, like people have been putting in boxes without breaking them down, they've actually put general rubbish in there as well. And I know it's the spa from next door because they don't have their own bins and they keep coming to use ours, which is really, really frustrating because we pay, part of our rent covers those bins. It's really, really frustrating. If they're going to ask more rent from me, I think I might be complaining about it. So we'll see what happens. Anyhow, mind you, I don't want to complain too much because then they're likely to increase the rent even more. So we might just have to be quiet about it. Anyhow, I am at the moment labeling up the body sprays so I can get them onto the shelf and hopefully sell a couple today. Last night when I got home, I started doing the editing of the photos, and thankfully, sometimes I get really lucky, and it must just be the way the light comes into the room, and I end up with photos that really don't need much work done to them at all. And then other times I have photos where I just think I could have sworn everything was right in the camera and they just look absolutely terrible. But thankfully all these photos looked really good, so they didn't take very long for me to edit. In fact, most of them I edited one photo and then I was able to copy and paste the settings and stick them into most of the other photos. So it was nice, quick and easy, which then meant I could get them online, both the body spray and the massage oils online really quickly. I then also set up an exclusive page on the website for my patron member, my Pamper Club members. And I set it up, like, it doesn't really matter if other people get to see it, but I've set it up so that my club members know exactly what is on sale for that month or what's on special for them that month, rather than going through the whole website trying to find what's on special. They can simply go into this area and see. But I wanted to have a little bit of exclusivity, so I've set it so that only my Pamper Club members can view it. So you have to be logged in to actually view it. But all the coding that was out there to do this page was written before Shopify did an upgrade on sort of the back end of the shop experience. And it was at a time when there's lots of different ways that coding can be written, and Shopify used to use what was called Liquid as their templates, and they now use something called JSON. This is probably going to just go whoosh over so many people's heads, but the two templates work quite differently. They're almost the same, but they need slightly different wording, and it took me a while to work out how to actually change the wording so that I could actually get it to work in this JSON template. But I did it, and I now have this exclusive page on my website. Once I got all that sorted, I emailed all my club members to let them know what the specials were for this month, and all those specials are available in store. So one of them would be these body sprays. They're going to be $12.95 on the shelf, but my Pamper Club members, not only do they get their club discount, they're also having an introductory price of $10.95 on them as well. In fact, my signs are wrong because I put $11.95 on these. It should be $10.95. So I'll have to fix that up in just a moment before I put these on the shelf. Today I do need to make up 2 test products that I'm going to do. I also have a soap to clean up, some soaps to package. Talking of soap cleaning up, let me go and grab it. So in that last vlog I did, I showed that I had this Edgemobile 1 tool from Off Custom Craft Tools, and I wasn't very happy about the whole experience. If you want to know more, you'll have to go back and see that one. You would also know that I was having trouble actually using it in terms of getting a nice clean finish on the soap, and so many people left different suggestions about what to do. So the soaps I was trying to bevel were 4-week cured soaps, so they were rock hard, and it was all getting dirty along here and then leaving dirty marks all over the soap. I then tried doing a soap that was cut and left for 24 hours, which is usually when I stamp mine, and it just dragged and it looked absolutely terrible and damaged some of my soap. This one's been sitting here for a week, and that looks right. Now I think we have the key to it. So this one's been sitting here for a week, and it is beveling much nicer, and it's not leaving as much sorry, I just had a little bit fall off. Not leaving as much stuff. Right, I think I finally found the key to it. So you can see maybe it's not dirty on the edges a little bit, but not nearly as much as what I was getting using it last time. It's given a beautiful edge. It hasn't marked my soap at all. I don't know if it's really going to be that visible on my camera. Maybe if I turn it, it might get a bit light, but there's a bit of a, you can almost see, I can feel it. There's like this dip in here. You can see this sort of shiny line across here, and that is from where I've run it down here, and this has marked the soap. So really wasn't very impressed. This had only been left for the 24 hours before I did some at 24 hours, and then I did some at 48 hours, and it was no better at 48. So I think with my recipe, the key is to leave my soap for a week before I can bevel it. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the bum because I like to get my soap on the rack, and when we get into really busy time and I'm pumping those soaps out, I need to get them beveled onto the soap rack within a couple of days of cutting them. But if that's what I need to do to make sure it's nice, that's what I have to do. It does give a nice bevel. Would I recommend it? Yes, it gives a nice bevel. Yes, it's nice and easy to use. So if you've got a bit of spare money to splash around and you would like a new tool, go ahead and think about purchasing it, keeping in mind my shipping issues I had. If it's not essential to your business, it's not going to make any difference, honestly. Keep using that potato peeler. Anyhow, let's get on with the day. I need to put some music on. I need to get my door actually open. I've got the door shut, but I need to get it open so people can actually see I am open. So let's get on with that. Alright, so we've got to the end of the day, end of the working week. I have just brought everything in from outside, shut the door. I've just grabbed Ida because I'm going to cut that witching hour soap. You'll have to wait until the video to see what the inside looks like, unless you've been following along on Instagram, because I did put up a bit of a sneak peek picture on there. But I'm going to keep all of those sort of soap designs a little bit quiet until we get closer to the Halloween release. It's a bit of a surprise for everyone. It's been a really good day today. It's actually been quite busy. I have had times where I haven't had anyone come through, like 30 or 40 minutes of me just pottering around doing what I do, and then all of a sudden I'd get 2, 3 or 4 people walk into the shop, all looking to buy. And they all did buy. So it's been a really good day for that, been nice and busy. I'm just doing my cash up now to see how things have gone, and hopefully it is a sign of things to come for the rest of this year. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I figured if I can get through this recession, that I'm going to be able to get through most things. I got through COVID, I'm going to get through this recession, and I'm going to keep going. Just means a slight change in my plans. In between customers coming in, I have been able to do a fair bit. We did get an order come in, so I've got that packed ready to send out tomorrow. I wrapped up all my little ray of sunshines. I've got a whole big box. I actually had to pour them into a bigger box than what they were in. I've got heaps of them because online sales have been slow, but we are coming into that season where people are going to be buying Christmas presents and everything like that. So I'd much rather have too many than not enough. And at the start of every month, I tend to make myself 4 new batches of the little ray of sunshine, so that I know I've always got some in stock, or at least on the cure rack. So next week I'll be making some more of those. I also boxed up all of the Guess bar soaps that were ready. I only did small batches. I explained in the last vlog, I only did small batches of 3 of the scents because I was testing the cutting, and then I made the big batches of them where I get 84 little Guess bars, and they were all on the rack. So they've all come off and they've been boxed up, and the website updated with new totals. So the rack's looking pretty bare now. There's only 3 soaps sitting on there. I also had a bit more of a play with the foaming hand wash formula that I'm putting out. I've been testing it. I know it works. It feels amazing on the skin, but I've always put it inside a bottle that is opaque, so I can't see through it, and I've been looking on the top to make sure that it's staying nice and stable. But I did get these really nice pump bottles in from off of New Directions, and I thought I'll make up a couple of batches to go in here. The reason there's 2 is because this one has the ingredient that I will recommend to those in the US, and this one is the one for everybody else. I have messed up a little bit though. I really wasn't thinking. When I do my body washes, I colour them with mica, and the mica does say suspended because of a certain ingredient that's in it. That certain ingredient is missing out of here, so my mica actually does sink to the bottom, so I need to actually put some water dispersible colorant in these instead of mica. All that will be explained with the recipe, but now that these are actually in clear bottles, I'm going to leave them sit here over the weekend, and I'm actually going to leave them in the shop so I don't go touching them and playing with them. I'm just going to leave them to sit, and then when I come in on Wednesday, I will check that they are still, the color's going to sink out. There's nothing I can do about that, but I will be able to double check that all of the ingredients have stayed stable, held together, and nothing funky is going on. That is kind of my final test. I've been testing the recipe for quite a few months now, and it's not given me any trouble, but I just wanted to do it in a clear bottle just to double check. So I've got those, they're going to sit there. But that is pretty much it. As I said, this week hubby and I are celebrating our 14th wedding anniversary. Means we've been together for almost, well, over 18 years, almost 19 years. That's a long time. Really, it sounds funny, but I'm proud of us for it, because not many marriages last that long. So really exciting. I don't know what we're doing. We haven't even discussed it because we don't see each other long enough to actually discuss these things. So we'll see. We'll probably decide something. He is coming home at about 6:30 tonight, so we might have a discussion and see what we're going to do on Tuesday. We are going up to see his mum tomorrow, or my tomorrow, which will be Monday. So I don't even know when I'm going to edit this video, but we'll get there. And then next week I have written up a few things on the board that I need to do. Anyway, I think it's going to be long. I'm going to stop chatting, otherwise it's just going to be even longer. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me on this rather roller coaster ride of a vlog this week. I really wasn't expecting half of the stuff to actually happen in terms of my rent, but we're going to get through it. I'll give you updates along the way of how things are going, but I do hope you've enjoyed coming along with me. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up, any comments down the bottom, and until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.